Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Good morning, Laurie Kilmartin in the afternoon.
Good morning.
Are you here? Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles for like 3 weeks, and then I go to Toronto at the end of the month. I'm doing some JFL linked shows at various locations in Toronto, including the Comedy Bar, and you can find that information on my. You can find. Hold on, Kyle just sent me a message to turn the fan off.
I was trying to not interrupt a plug, the most important part of the show. Like, sound is fine, but let's get those dates out, Laurie.
I literally only have one fan, and it's something I have to plug in. That's how my career is right now.
But you, it's 114 degrees outside. I mean, it's
horrible.
It's genuinely.
I've used the AC this weekend, and I never use the AC. And wow, it's amazing. Like this whole summer, like at 3 o'clock, yeah, it's 106. At 3 o'clock, I'm like, how do people live like this? But I'm not using the AC. I'm just sitting in front of a fan, and it really, just keeping it at 78 makes such a difference. You just feel functional. It's so bad for the environment, though.
I'm not weighing in on that because I'm running the AC right now, and it is at 78. Actually, out here in the garage, I have it at 80. So,
see, that's reasonable, and
I'm trying to help. I'm trying not to be a monster, but whatever. I'm a monster. But I just took the dogs for the tiniest of all walks, just to, and I usually go around the corner. And we get to the end of the block. I'm like, nope, we're going back in. And we go back in, and the metal clasps that I put on their harnesses are hot to the touch. I was like, all right. Okay.
Because I'm on my son's school schedule, I wake up around 6:30 or 7, no matter what time I go to bed. And just to walk outside at that early in the morning and to feel heat is so discouraging, because you expecting a little bit of crispness, and there's nothing there, and it's like 4 in the afternoon heat at 7 a.m. It's really awful.
Right, it's already 85 degrees right out the get-go here in the valley, but so global warming is real. Try to save somebody or something. And how was your stand-up comedy career this week? How did you do stand-up comedy?
It feels like it's in the dumper. I did do stand-up comedy. I did many shows this week in Los Angeles. They were fun. And I did little fivers at Flappers because they're having their anniversary show this weekend. So they've got a bunch of comics doing short amounts of time. And those were fun. You're not going to do a ton of new stuff in a fiver unless, but some people did. I didn't feel, but whatever. So it was enjoyable. And then I was at the Improv last night, and I had to follow Anthony Jeselnik, so that was fun.
That's awesome.
He gets the crowd. They become oohers, real like ooh laughers. So it's like he's a great comic, but he also gets them listening to jokes. So. Anyone listening, don't be scared to follow Anthony Jeselnik, because he preps the crowd really well too, because his jokes are so well written, and he forces them to pay attention to the writing, and so he's great.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to follow anyone, because you could acknowledge it. Just say, well, that was exciting. You got to see Fancy Pants General whatever. Last night I had 2 sets at Flappers, one for the anniversary and one for one just where I was supposed to do a 10-minute set in front of Leno. And I was late. I thought the show started at 8, and it started at 7. And so at 6:45, I got a call from Josh going, "Are you coming?"
Oh no!
And so I was like, do you want to just give it to someone else? I know Laura House is in the house. She was doing Yoo-Hoo because we'd spent a couple hours writing yesterday afternoon. Mm-hmm. And but he was like, no, if you're here by 7:15, Jimmy Brogan will go first, and then you can do 10. And so I got there at 10 after. There was parking issues, there was street closures. I asked a cop, just you know how sometimes you see a cop and you become nervous and think you're going to be killed and you're a criminal, even though you're not, and you're a middle-aged white lady. So a cop pulled up next to me, and so I rolled out my window and I said, "Hey, do you know where the comedy club is?" And he rolled down his back window first to show his canine. And then he
What?
rolled out. I know. It was a really weird
weird.
fucking powered play where I was
Wait,
like,
you were just chit chat in traffic with a cop?
yep.
What? Why?
Because I knew I had to cut in front of him. Whenever I cut in front of a cop, I always think to
Oh.
myself, he's gonna
Right.
kill me.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah. So I just at the stoplight, I asked him. I was like, "Do you know where Flappers is?" And he goes, "It's right up there." And I see a bunch of traffic. And I think about making conversation, but he's super, he's like I've interrupted him at work, and I'm like, this is part of your job and talking to the public. Nothing. Okay.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I get there. I'm late. Casey is on stage,
Mhm.
and
Who's
I try to,
hosting?
yeah, she's hosting, and I tried to stand close enough so she could see me, so she'd bring me up instead of Jimmy because I felt bad, and she didn't see me, and brought Jimmy up. But then I had a mediocre 10-minute set in front of Jay Leno, which you'd think I wouldn't care, but I do, and he was polite about it. I have to say this. I had a bad set the first time I met Dana Gould,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was opening for him all weekend at the Comedy Gallery in the early '90s, and so I just went up. I did a guest set, or so, I can't remember what it was, but it was the first time I'd ever performed, and it didn't go well. And Dana Gould would not make eye contact with me. He did not. What I appreciated was that he did not lie. And later in the week, he
Great set.
not a word, not a sentence out of him. Later in that weekend, I did have a better set, and he was like, "That was funny," and I was like, "That's all I wanted." But at least he didn't lie, And
Mhm.
and it was an okay set. I'm not ever gonna have that bad a set like I had in '92. But unless, of course, I have a stroke on stage. But that was that. So the first show, and it was funny because Brogan was like, "Hey, let me give you some advice," and I looked at him and he goes, "I'm kidding. I know now. I'm not supposed to
He
give you
knows.
advice." And yeah,
I just somebody had a bit that I watched, and there was a word I think that they should have used a different word, and I'm like, should I tell them? And I'm like, no, and then
yeah.
it's been bothering me for like 3 days straight, so I just DM'd like like a 2 paragraph message saying I think this word would work better and here's why. So, annoying.
Yeah, that is that is crazy. I did do the second show, and the reason I brought it up was I did the 2 new bits that I'm sort of working on. One,
Mhm.
my new kind of sex joke, and
Fuck yeah, Jackie.
fuck yeah, and
Let's get fun.
you married sex, nothing's racier. And when your mother-in-law's in the room next door,
Oh my
nothing's racier.
god. Oh
And
no.
then but no, I'm not doing a bit about that. That actually, I'm embarrassed to have even mentioned it. But the
Oh no, Jackie, you got to. Come on.
I know it's gold. It's probably gold. And then
Something.
I will say this. Remember I think it was last episode of the episode before I said that I left my vibrator at
Yeah.
a condo. And so I had like 3 shows at Bar Lubitz and the gender fluid tchotchke store next to Bar Lubitz. I had a show there on Monday, and
Oh wow.
it was a storytelling show. And I was working with Cindy Williams, who's a New York comic and not from Laverne and Shirley. Do you know Cindy Williams? You know Cindy Williams, right?
I don't
Offhand,
know.
it's hard. We do, and that's the whole thing. She was like, remember when you used to yell at me when I would bring up people, and you're like, don't put me on the spot.
Yeah, I was just thinking, why the fuck is she doing this to me again?
Yeah, I know. I'm just constantly doing it to you.
Look at my eyes.
Are they dead? Are they dead inside? So it was a storytelling. I will get back to the vibrator thing in a minute, but the storytelling show I did on Monday was Jake Kroger.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was in this store, and it was blackout dark. I couldn't see anyone. Virginia was there, and I recognized her because she has a distinctive laugh that I enjoy. And so it's a very bright spotlight into your face, and it's supposed to be a storytelling 10 minutes. And I feel like Cindy Williams was first or second, and I was like, no one else should go up. We should all just go home, because it was. I don't even know what to do with this story. I mean, I don't know what she's doing. I think she's doing a solo show over at the Elysian, or maybe Lyric.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's a story about when she was 8 and a bunch of money. And I don't want to ruin it. There's a Chuck E. Cheese element. I mean, It was genuinely like, it just kept building, and I became stressed out about this story. I was like, what is going to happen? And then you find out, and you're like, I don't know how to turn that. It's not, I mean, the story itself isn't broken, but there's part of me that's like, people want to see that as a movie. And, that's a scene, not just a scene. I want it to be like a half-hour movie. If there was such a thing as a novella in movies, and there probably is. I'm not in that part of show business. She should make a novella of movies, the Cindy Williams story about.
I like that idea. A movie novella. A Moovella. I like
Moovella. Write it down.
Write it down.
Anyway.
That's cool.
So I told my story, and it was just okay, and it was fine. And then I did a Bar Lubitz on Friday. I did a jetpack. It was a bunch of very funny, very pasty white dudes and myself. And I was like, everybody's very funny, but it does feel weird that I'm the only lady. And then I worked on that new stuff, and I've been kind of depressed all week because I feel some guilt about my mother-in-law, and all these different things, and I've got all this, so I've been genuinely depressed. And last night I was sitting next to, I think it was Hunter Hill, and the green room was packed because it was those 5-minute spots, the second show. Yeah. And Hunter goes, "How you doing?" And I was like, kind of depressed. And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything I could do? Do you want to talk about it or anything?" Incredibly sane conversation. Standing in front of me, two dudes our age, a little bit older, Brian Kiley.
Oh,
Noodles himself.
Kylie
and then
Noodles.
Kylie Noodles and of course Jimmy Brogan, who both tried to fix it. And
well, Kylie's a dad, so of course he's going to try to make you feel better.
Yes, and they're both super sweet. And I was like, you see what this guy did right here? You see what 34 gets you? This gets you. This is what this guy did. He just said, "I'm so sorry to hear that." And so, and Brian and Jimmy were like, "Is something changed? What happened? Is there something you can be addressed?" And I was like, "This isn't a carburetor. You can't pull it out. It's not. Sometimes I am human. I don't get depressed that often, but I sometimes get depressed."
Wouldn't it be nice to have a problem that could be fixed in a packed green room? I mean, that's the dream problem, right?
Wow. There's absolutely nothing. No problem can be fixed in a packed green room. A packed green room usually creates problems.
Yes. The only thing that fixes a packed green room is a fire in the green room. Everyone flees. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, fan of the show, Nicole, not going to say her last name, may not even know it, but she brought to the second show. She thought that I was on Friday's show, but you were on Friday's show. And so she got to see you, and that was a delight. But she, for some reason, didn't offer you a homemade cinnamon roll. She was like, Jackie needs a homemade cinnamon roll. And so she brought me a homemade cinnamon roll the size of my head. And I brought it
The
into the green
favorite
room.
fucking continues with our fan base.
Feel free to bring Laurie Kilmartin all of the sweet treats. It's good. You could bring me. Somebody did actually. The last time I said this, somebody did, and there was 12 cents taped to a card. It was actually quite adorable, because I said something about everybody sending me 12 cents last week, and she had 12 cents taped to a card. But the last time I said to somebody, if you want to bring me something, bring me some roast chicken. That'll be great. A woman actually brought me roast chicken and stuffing. And I was like, this is very sweet. But so I bring it into the back, and one of the wait staff go, are you going to eat that? Like I'm a firefighter and it's not safe for me to eat. I'm a comic. Of course I was like, if this is how someone wanted to kill me, it's a weird way to go, but I'm willing to chance it. And then James P. Connolly also had a giant fight, as did Casey. So I split it up amongst the people.
All right, that's nice of you. I guess my half that you set aside for me is
Casey asked. Oh no, it was Laura House. She was like, "You're not going to save half of that for Laurie? I thought you had to split all. I owe you 6 cents. How about that? How about that?
Not good enough."
So I tried to figure out the Patreon thing as well this week. With an actual, well, there was an idea. Here's an idea, and I set it up, but I don't know where to put the art. And there's still no tiers on the Patreon because we mostly use the money to pay Kyle. Congratulations, Kyle.
Thank you.
Yes.
You have received and because it's been very popular, you are making, I think, fair money, and that's nice.
It's the only thing keeping me financially alive.
Oh, there you go. Good for us. That is very disappointing to hear. I'm going to burst into tears. Did you not hear that I was depressed?
Will share that sentiment about this.
And but I heard that there's a thing that Patreon will do where if you create a tier, they can also send people like a sticker every 3 months or every month or something like that. You can send them actual merch that they will produce and drop ship themselves.
That's
so
right.
all you have to do is upload the art. So I created that tier, and I created art for the first sticker, but I have since not found the place to upload that art.
Oh,
so if somebody joins, and it's a $10 tier, and supposedly if you do it for 3 months in a row, you get a sticker. So if you're already at that $10 tier, I think it will happen, but maybe you'll get a blank sticker in 3 months. And wouldn't that be ironic? Wouldn't that be weird? If they just sent you a sticker that then you would get a Sharpie and write Jackie and Laurie on. I don't know what you would do with that, but
let's commit now to not sending our fans a blank sticker. Let's commit now.
I will go back. I'll take another dive into it to try to figure it out, obviously. But the other thing that I can't figure out, for some reason, the Dork Forest isn't on Google Podcasts. And the last one is like 20 episodes ago. The next episode, by the way, starts the 17th year of the Dork Forest.
Whoa.
52 predate podcasts. As far as
right. I am Jurassic. And it is. Yeah, it's nuts. 2006.
Wow. I mean, that's got to have been one of the first comedy podcasts hosted by comics, right?
As Jimmy Pardo likes to say, he beat me by 3 months.
Seriously, like Pardo first, right? And then maybe Jimmy Dore, right?
No. Doors is only like 10 years old. His is just a couple of years older than ours.
Oh, really? I thought he had just a pure comedy podcast for a while.
A previous one, but just in a row, it's Jimmy Dore. It's Jimmy Pardo.
Pardo, yeah.
And then the next, and then there's a couple others that I can't remember the name of. And then I think like 4 years. I think that WTF, Mark Maron's thing, is easily 12 years.
Mark Maron asked me to be on one of the first ones.
Yeah, me too.
At the Bonnie Hunt show, and I couldn't get away for the afternoon to do it, but it was like, it must have been like in 2009. Right. Because that's when my limited time working for her.
There you go. Maybe she'll hire you again.
Like, it wasn't out yet. So he was just banking them.
Oh, interesting. I think the first one I did
It
was a live one. And then I did an in garage
we
one
did that one together. We did a live one together.
that Marilyn Rice Cup didn't show up at UCB Franklin.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I remember Marilyn not showing up. And I had texted her. I said, "Are you coming to this thing?" And she said, "I'm not going to bank it." And it was something like, "I'm in my pajamas." It didn't happen. And since it didn't pay anything, I think the first time I did it in his garage, I got a T-shirt that I loved. It had 3 cats on it, and then and a pound of coffee, because he already had advertisers.
Sure. Yeah, he was successful pretty quick. I still have my coffee mug from the first time I did it. It's a great mug. It does get hot in the microwave. You can't microwave the mug, but it's a great mug to pour hot coffee in.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right?
That's a great story. I love it. You said
You have to end everything with "it's a great story." None of these are great stories, okay?
You doubt my veracity?
Average stories. That's what every podcast is, okay? Well, we can't win the lottery every podcast.
Wow, that was some comedy gold right there. Look what happened right there.
Oh
That's
my
going
God,
to be a
there
nice.
you go again. This is the most midwestern thing. This is because my mother used to do it. It's that little sarcastic thing after something. A little.
Just compare me to your mother?
Yes, I did.
I'm gonna storm out. Watch it happen.
So Wisconsin of you. This is so Wisconsin.
I can't be a little sarcastic. That actually does sound like you're. I can't be a little sarcastic. You're the only one who can be funny. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, that was comedy gold, right, guys? Who am I doing an impression
of? I don't know, Marilyn Bamford. Talk to me about. So, yeah.
I was.
Can we take a break? I don't know. No, go ahead, please.
Oh, wait. Should we take a break?
I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
And comic of the week?
Oh, yeah. Already? Is it 30?
Oh, we took a break, so that's usually we do it right after the break. It's 22, so we're doing okay.
We're early.
You've asked for breaks at 15 before, so we're doing all right.
Our comic of the week is Aivy Cordova.
Yeah. I watched a clip. I saw that she I saw her tour dates on avycordova.com is updated. So you guys, this is a comic that you'll know if she's available. So feel free to book her.
I worked with her in Berkeley recently, and she is brilliant.
That's great. What I saw, I really liked, and and her first name is spelled Aivy, so it's Ivy with an A in front.
Okay, and what's her handle?
Kyle, please.
Her name on Twitter currently is Queefer Sutherland.
Wait,
Go
it's
see this woman live. No, it's at Aivy Cordova.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Queefer Sutherland is just the first impression.
Profile name.
Yeah.
So okay.
Okay. Queefer Sutherland is funny. Okay, so I will finish the fact that I went because I did so many gigs right around Bar Lubitz and the Pleasure Chest, which is the dirty bookstore that sometimes has stand up. So I go in there to buy a new vibrator because I need I'm a human. They have
you
done.
Afraid you're gonna run into a comedian at the Pleasure Chest while you're buying a vibrator?
I'm afraid of no one. What Eli Olsberg has done, he has made me inured to the Pleasure Chest. I will even wander back and see those racks where you can put somebody on and put a ball gag in them and go, I don't ever want to be part of that. But people will be browsing in that area, and I'll think, all right, that's what they're into. I hope they have a nice safe word. So, So I go and I find because the brand I wanted was the one that we got. I don't know if you bought one. Was when Emily Heller, they accidentally used her name or something on Instagram, so we all got a deal on this one brand, the Lilo brand. of vibrators. And so she called him up, or she DM'd him and said, I'm going to need a code so that me and all of my friends can get discounts.
I remember. I didn't
Remember
do
that? Oh, it was so great. And so I got it, and it was probably 3 or 4 inches long, and it had like a suctiony thing, too much info, but it had a suction thing on it. And the newer version, it's like going from a 1997 Camry to a 2012 Camry. It's 4 times as big. It's 3 times as loud. I feel like I got a jackhammer going on down there. And I'm like, why does it have to be so big and so loud? And I was like, is the other half going to be jammed up me? Does it also vibrate? It does not. So, too
My
much
God,
info.
Jackie.
I know, a lot of info, but like you said, we got time to fill here. So, but I did go across and I bought one, and it's I don't know if I can carry it in my carry-on luggage. It feels actually embarrassing. The littler one did not.
Okay.
You got a story? Anything? What's your story?
I don't have a vibrator story. Sorry, guys. Turn the podcast off now if you expect me to talk.
You doing everything manually still? I did for ages.
Jackie, I only talk about these things on stage. Why would I ever talk about them in real life? Now, I started like I have a TikTok account, so I'm like, what do I want to just enjoy it, whatever I'm going to do, Clearly one has to be on TikTok if one is a stand-up comedian, right?
Right. You got to give all your info to China. Yes.
Yeah, and you have to just put everything up, right? And so I had a couple tweets about student loan debts that were like trolly towards conservatives. And so I just read those tweets, or I didn't read them, but I just said them to the camera and posted them. Tagged it like MAGA Republic. I tagged it to attract conservatives. And then there was a lot of action, but it was all white men calling me stupid. And so for a while I was like, I sometimes like to fight. And so that was fun. And then I was like, is this what I want my TikTok to be? I don't.
No.
It's not resulting in even hate follows. Like it was just finding it, hashtags, and telling me I was stupid or a communist or whatever.
Have you put the filtered comments? Have you done any of the filtering on the comments? Because you can filter out the word stupid. I filter out the word Karen and the word Karen misspelled. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, I just decided after like a week or maybe 6 days or 5 days, I took them down because it was just repetitive, annoying stuff. And so I've been taking old sets and like really old ones. Like I'm gonna put more of my comedy on the road up, but just little jokes, not the whole set all at once, but just little jokes and throwing them up. I don't have a lot of engagement. I don't know if I will. It seems like you have to sort of luckily, catch lightning in a bottle, but you won't catch it if you don't have shit up there. So I'll just put it up and
Tiff Stevenson told me how to do it, and she said every day for 30 days, put up a 30-second stand-up clip. 30 seconds or less for 30 days in a row. And by the end of that, I had 42,000 followers. So, by the way, did you notice that I reposted your Instagram post from Conan?
Thank you. I don't know how you did that, but thank you for doing that.
I used an app called Repost, and it's got 45,000 views on it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's and all the comments are at you saying how funny you are. And I was like, get out. Why don't you go follow her if you like her so much? But so that worked.
So Kyle, have you seen Kyle Kinane's TikTok? He
Is he gone?
He posted Well, no, he posted a clip about a service dog, and that's it. I forget exactly the joke, but it has the word consent in it, and how he aggressively petted a service dog, like he didn't ask for consent. And so people stitched it, like people that are, use a service dog, and there was, it was just, it's so funny when people take a joke and apply it to their real lives and get very angry about it.
Right?
And so a number of TikTokers have done that with some of his bits. And it's so funny to
Absurd.
watch. Of all the people who wouldn't give one shit if you didn't like a joke, it's Kyle Kinane. So maybe it makes me laugh. So if you look, I mean, the jokes, he's funny, so his jokes are funny, but the stitches are like, as a comic, your worst nightmare of someone talking to you after the show about one of your jokes.
Right, and trying to dissect it for some reason.
Yeah.
Not asked for, not real, not any number of things that shouldn't have anything to do with you, but you're just like, imagine someone aggressively petting a service animal without consent. And you're like, it's okay. It didn't happen. Don't sweat it.
Like, yeah, it was service animal TikTok got mad and consent TikTok got, like, every word that he picked has a community that's very upset about it. And
it feels like he's artificially trying to get canceled.
I know.
Did you?
I mean, yeah, it seems like it was written to be picked apart, but I don't think that's what he wants necessarily. So I doubt it, but it just coincidentally is one of those bits that's perfect if you want to piss off people that are going to take a joke very literally.
So I was at Bar Lubitz the other night, and Peter, the guy who was running the night, Jetpack, he says, "Did you ever do that joke about Native American frozen food aisle?" And I said, "No, that was 2 albums ago. I'm working on new stuff." And he goes, yeah, that makes sense. And he walks away. And after the show, I realized, I think he wanted to hear me do that joke. I think he was making a request. I don't even know if I would remember that joke. I would have to look it up. It's the DiGiorno joke, I think. I think it ends with the DiGiorno line. But it's from Conan.
Did you do it on Conan? You did it on Conan, right?
I did it on Conan. It was a good one.
Yeah. And that whole thing of having to look it up, like Joan Rivers used to have jokes on index cards. But it's weird because I think we in our generation of comics and below, you ideally you stop doing a bit because you have written new stuff and it may not apply to your life anymore because you're writing about your life as it's going. But like Joan Rivers was her, none of it necessarily tracked exactly with her life, right?
Yeah.
A lot of her jokes. So she could tell a joke for 30 years, maybe update it or and just have it on the index card and just go, oh, I need this kind of a joke. Let me just look through here.
Just cross-referenced. Yeah, exactly. But there's what else? I don't know if she does, actually. All I know is I'm supposed to do a bunch of I have to figure out the Google podcast thing. I have to figure out the Patreon thing. I have to figure out what's happening with my album. With Aivy and I have to I mean this week I'm doing a one-nighter at a resort in San Diego at Mission Resort. But I'm only doing 30 minutes, but they do have a hotel for me. And I'm thinking about just staying in it just because I don't want to drive 3 hours back at night.
Hotels are nice. You should do that. I have regarding my album that came out in October, because we didn't get any album sales money the first half of the year.
Yep. We're supposed to get some at the end of this month, right?
End of this month. But for an album that's been out 10 and a half months, I've made about $600 on Sirius. That's it.
That's about what I've done.
What's the point? Now I'm burning material for what? I don't know.
Yeah. Nobody. I mean, the thing is there's part of me that's like, well, I guess I could do that material if I wanted. I don't want to. That's why I recorded the album so that I could move on and do other material. And
right.
and also make money on it. And I'm not making any money on it. And I emailed the guy about it, and he hasn't responded. I'm getting a lot of not being responded, you know. And I did open for Maria at Irvine Improv this week, and it was actually super fun. As far as the crowd was all hers. Like, it was a Thursday night. It was like 300 people. The room seats almost 500. But they were telling me that nobody, there's like a handful of people that can fill that room, right? Like, even this guy, and I don't want to say his name just because it's not that he probably wouldn't even care, but he often does fill the room.
Really?
And yeah, because he
But I
grinds
didn't
it
know
out.
Is he what?
Because he grinds it out. He does it via advertising and social media. Like, that's his. He works the road, right? And he has.
Well,
have you ever done it? Yeah.
His social media, like, he's it's really
Podcast.
proactive.
I believe so.
Okay, we should start a podcast.
Wait, Laurie, do you want to start a podcast? Maybe
that'll help our careers.
Could happen. Can't know. And but the weird, it has actually. I would say that this podcast has definitely helped my career. I have ridden your coattails to several different gigs.
First gigs, yes.
And more. It's been a delight. Yeah, and then so I did that, and then I did Flappers twice, and then I did Jetpack, and then I did the tchotchke store next to Bar Lubitz once. This week, I don't know what I'm doing this week. I feel like I have sets, but I was so depressed that I actually made an appointment with a nutritionist, Laurie. They're gonna find out that I'm also not allergic to gluten. The last time I went to a nutritionist was like 5 years ago, and she's like, "We're gonna do a series of blood tests. We're gonna find out you're allergic to gluten." I know it. So we did a series of blood tests, and we found out I'm not allergic to gluten. And she was like, "I still don't think you should do gluten." I was like,
yeah, so she's going to give you you had to pay for the test, and she gave you the advice she would have given you either
without the test. Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
I don't understand the purpose of a nutritionist. Because I think we kind of all know now, right?
Yeah, we got info.
I don't know.
Well, I'm looking for a new acupuncturist. So I asked Wendy Liebman, who's lived here almost all of her, for longer. And she's got I figured she lives in the Valley. My acupuncturist, 85, retired. I get it. You're 85. Anyway, so she retired. And so I asked Wendy Liebman if she had an acupuncturist, and she told me about this woman. And so I called that woman, and that woman was like, "I do acupuncture, but I do nutrition. I do all wellness." And I was like, "Well, welcome to Los Angeles, where there's going to be some wellness." And I would like some wellness because, what the heck? Because
I feel like it's with a nutritionist, it's the promise of a plan. Like, if you just follow this plan, then everything will fall into place. And I don't know.
Me neither. So Thursday, I'm opening for Maria at Flappers. Maria's doing the long set at Flappers on Thursday. And then on Friday, I do that San Diego gig. And then on Saturday, Lady to Lady 10-year anniversary.
Nice.
You hear about that jam? It's a jam. You've been invited, Laurie.
I think so.
Yeah. I can't remember.
No,
or are you just checking to see where you're going to be?
Kind of both. I still, this is a legacy of Zoom, but it's still written on my refrigerator, my gigs, so they're never handy when I need them. Sometimes people are, "Hey, are you available for this thing?" And I'll be on the road, and I'll be like, "Oh, I should have taken a picture of the fridge." I do like writing it by hand in big letters on the fridge and not typing it in my little phone.
Right. Well, because then then your young man will also know where the hell you are, which kind of helps.
That, and I also thought, well, if I put my road dates up, his dad will see it when we do family dinner, and then not schedule something on those road weekends, and that's never happened. So I need to retool. I am at the Dynasty on 9/11 because the Julie Seabaugh movie, the documentary she did about, comics and jokes or excuse me, after 9/11 she's screening it. So I'll be there in the beginning and I might stick around to watch. It's hard to look at my face because,
it's your face.
it's my face, and I clearly need to start traveling with a lighting designer because
Yeah.
no one else cares what I look like but me. And then when I see it on screen, I'm horrified. But I'm sure no one else gives a shit. No one
else.
No
Is Steve Rannazzisi going to be there? Hero of 9/11, stand-up comedy. Hero of 9/11.
I don't know. I hear he's in Pakistan saving people from flooding. Someplace.
A lot of people don't know this about him, but he works for Merrill Lynch in Pakistan right now. And so,
hey, careers can come back from anything. That's the inspiring thing about a lot of stories we've experienced the past couple of years.
Oh yeah,
nothing kills a comedy career except being a woman who's over 40.
Bam! Let's end that. I just watched a season of a show called Madame Blanc. It is a British show. It's one of those murder mysteries. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But get this: the lead woman. Everybody on this show, because it's a British murder mystery show, is either goony looking or normal looking, so they appear handsome. And it was written by the woman who plays Madame Blanc, and her writing partner, who's also got a role in it, and it is wonderful. And I'm like, I'm so happy it was made. And they shot it during COVID, and they shot it at a little island off Malta. Malta is off of Italy, and the Gozo is off of Malta. And so it's this tiny, and it's supposed to be set in the south of France, but because it's in the Mediterranean off of Italy, it looks like the south of France. It looks like all of that, right? So there's a giant church. That's all they need for someone to be murdered in. And but yeah, so but it was inspirational to watch because there's like 7 or 8 episodes, and then there's two like short, the making of Madame Blanc. And they interview all of the white guys who directed it, and they're like, it's so surprising that I enjoyed this, but Sally wrote it and she asked me to come be part of it, and I was so happy to be. It was so weird. Like, even the director is kind of better looking than almost everyone on the show.
Interesting. I do feel like you and I should have been born and raised in England because they just have a better comedy system. They have these little series that they give people. You have to, write it and ask for it and stuff like that. But it just seems so different from here. Like you can have a little shot, a little chance. It seems like if you go through the right channels.
Well, Maria's actually she's gonna do her own show again, like the Maria Bamford show on her web series. Remember that? Where she played all the characters. She's going to do sort of, and it's a dozen years ago that she did it, but she's going to do sort of a realer version of that, an updated version with more production, and she's going to play all the characters again.
That's cool. And is she funding it?
She's funding the first, like the trailer, I think, so that, and she's thinking about doing a Kickstarter, but she's super shy about doing a Kickstarter. And I was like, no, people want to see more Maria Bamford on their streaming services and their television, and they would be happy to donate $20 or $100 or $200 or whatever they have. Like $20, I think gets you the series.
I think 100 gets you a producer credit. And
right, or more. Just, 100 might get you a thank you, 500 might get you a producer credit, because every episode
is money bags. So she could actually have a number. If you hit it, you are an associate producer, you're an executive producer, etc.
Right, because that's actually the definition of the gig, almost providing money for the show. I don't know how long the shows are, but she's pretty psyched about it. She's pretty excited. Laura House and I are working on a cartoon idea based on one of my old bits. And
Cool.
Maria said that she would voice some of it if she's like, I need work. And I was like, well, if you're attached to it, it might sell. And it will create its own work, right? And it'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
And I how I put on my vision board that I wanted more voiceover work. So I
Mhm.
have this tiny recurring role, a small recurring role in a cartoon that it's an NDA, I can't talk about it. But I had to go up and do ADRs and pickups and just additional lines, right?
What's an
And
ADR?
additional dialogue recording.
Additional dialogue recording, yeah.
And and so every time I went, I was like, I wonder if I'm being paid for this. Then I would sign things, and I just got a check.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, pretty great. Speaking of which, I never got that check from San Diego, San Mateo. So that's weird. I wonder what happened to that lady.
You'll get it. I'm sure you'll get it.
Yeah, but I got a text saying that it was coming. That's interesting. It'll come.
Um, I forgot. Well, I don't know. I might start a cameo.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Maria
I thought you
said she
had one. Yeah, she said she liked it.
likes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, I do want to take a break. I need to recalibrate, Kyle. He
Yeah.
sent us a chat.
Oh well. A lot of silence. It's a beautiful.
It's a smart way to run the clock.
It's real nice.
I was at so I did El Cid this week, and it was funny because at the beginning of the show there weren't that many people here, so I made a set list based on the fact that there weren't that many people there, and then like 20 people walked in together and sat all over the place, and it's like, ugh. And then I took off a couple bits and added different ones, and but there was this one white woman sitting right up front, like, I don't know, 25 or something.
By herself?
Long black hair. No, she's with a group who are, the rest of them were sort of enjoying the show. And she's looking down and looking at her phone and just looked so hostile. It was weird. I didn't want to.
That is weird.
Or just call her out, because calling out someone who's not enjoying the show, unless they're, I don't know, it's dicey, because they can.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Full of negativity. Right. You can't get mad at someone for not liking you. You can get mad if they heckle you, or you can come back at them for that. But if they just aren't entertained by you,
yep. There was a guy. My second set last night. First set, I didn't get to write a set list because I came in too hot, and I was all in my head. And Flappers has that new clock up high, which is awesome usually, but sometimes distracting. Where I'm like, I'm at 3 minutes and I've already done those 4 jokes. Why don't you slow down, Jackie? In my head, Jimmy Brogan. Anyway, so then
he doesn't need to give you advice. It lives in your head.
It lives. It's already there. And then there's a guy on the left. His wife or girlfriend is having the time of her life. Keeps laughing. I do that line about I do that abortion line, and she laughs and laughs, and his face got all tight, and I was like, your face doesn't get tight. And I wanted to just say that to him. I was like, literally no one's talking to you, buddy. But I didn't say any of that. And but the second show, I did my new married sex joke, and then I did my brand new tiny chunk about my mother-in-law, which I talked to my dad on the phone the other day, and with my mom-in-law was in the car, and my dad was like, I said, Chris, you met my dad at the wedding. Dad, this is my mother-in-law, Chris, you met her at the wedding. And they're like, hi, and all these things. And then there was silence. So I said, yeah, I'm working on some new material about her, so you're a little bit off the hook, Dad. And Chris, the look on Chris's face was just like, oh, that's what it's come to. Now I'm just going to be in the act. And my dad goes, and in the middle of like the next thing out of my dad's voice was, I was like, you just write the material for me, Dad, because the next thing out of my dad's mouth is, you know how if there's no God, it doesn't matter? And I was like, right. And he goes, but there might be a God. So, and I go, right. And he says, so you might as well go through the motions, right? And and I'm like, a little late to get in on that, Dad. A little late.
He's thinking about things.
Yeah, he's 85. TikTok.
Never too late.
Never too late. And so, but I did do, and it's just a little joke about moving her from the sequoias down here to live with us. Yeah. And so, who doesn't want 20 new minutes of material?
True. You know what? It's weird. Like, so I have like a chunk of material on cis women and trans women, right?
Right.
And I did it on the gala show. So at some point it's going to be a televised bit, but also sometimes they chop things up. It's every word is important in that bit. And if you take out something, it could make me look like an asshole or something. Yeah. Yes. Right. So, and then Sam Merle posted he had a really good trans joke on from his Netflix special that he posted. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I should post mine. But I mean,
just to get a date stamp on it.
Yeah, but it has a date stamp but I'm just afraid of what Canada's going to do to it. So maybe I should just put a club version of it. So because it's like, and then, I mean, so far no one's, I'm just looking at like cis comedians, like obviously trans comedians are going to come from their own point of view, whatever. So far none of the cisses have stepped on mine, but I'm like, maybe I should just get it out and not wait for an album or this thing or the gala show just to get it out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a quick break before.
Oh, another one?
Yeah, that would be break number 3.
Oh shit! Did we already take the second break?
We only
Was I boring you, Jackie?
We only got 8 minutes left, y'all. We got this.
Oh no! Because I wanted to say something about the. So I have someone clipping out a couple of my live sets that I have from different clubs that have come through, and I don't do any crowd work. So he texts me and he's like, "So should I just grab bits?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he grabbed 2 brand new bits that I can't post. They're just it will burn them. So I can't. It's genuinely too soon for those 2 bits. And one of them is the married sex joke. And I was like, I appreciate that you like those 2 bits. And the other one I think is the mother-in-law joke. They're so like brand new versions of those jokes.
Just moved in, man. Yeah, you haven't paid the movers yet. Come on.
Right, I'm still paying that off on the card. So but it is. But what I'm saying is that it's flattering that he found those 2 bits to be kind of how bits are when they're fresh. They just have a nice energy to them. Yeah. That obviously, and he's a comic, so he's like, he felt that energy, I think.
All right. Well, here's my point with my trans bit is that it's done. I'm not working on it anymore,
Yeah,
I feel
you could put that up for sure.
Yeah, but now I'm like, I should wait for it to be in an album so I could make money off of it. No, I guess I'm not making money off of album stuff. So if a bit's finished, I should just throw it up someplace.
Right. And your album is still on Apple and Amazon, right? Like mine is.
I assume so, but I'm not making any money from it.
Right.
It's a historical memory of a set I did in 2019. That's all it is. It's an archive if anyone's interested in 200 years.
Right. Of 45 minutes of 50 minutes of you doing a set. Yeah, I know. I guess I'm going to wait till the end of the month before I hire a lawyer or ask them if I have to hire a lawyer to get my album back. Because and I don't know, you guys listening? Anybody listening? Because the thing is I don't know how to do lawyers, I think has been established. And but I will, because then I can just put it on CD Baby or TuneCore, and CD Baby and TuneCore will play stuff on Sirius, even though all of my other stuff should be on Sirius, and it's also not. So it is so far nothing's on Sirius because um my buddy Dominic said he keeps a look at it, and he said he would ping me if he saw it. And I don't know how to look for it, but he could just show me. That's what I need. One more task. Pardon me while I go eat a bullet.
One more technical task that has nothing to do with stand-up, actually.
I know. I was so happy when I got off stage last night. I was like, stand-up comedy can genuinely fix anything. So second set went so well. It was just a 5-er. I did 5:21. I felt bad about the 21 seconds because there were 16 comics. And but it was super fun, and both jokes worked, and it was great. Pretty psyched about it. Wait, we never responded to the Crow about doing a live Jackie and Laurie?
Oh, my only worry is COVID. That's my only worry.
Oh, do you have
it's an hour of us without masks talking in a room full of people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Me neither. So that's is that your worry? My worry is I don't know what my schedule is. I haven't been able to stare deeply into my calendar. So, but I want to. I want to do everything.
Let you know what I do.
Please do. I do want to. Yeah.
Very ventilated. Like there's 2 doors that are open on either side of the stage. So it's
I think one of them is like a garage door or like a double door, like garden doors, aren't they?
Right. But you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to get my Omicron vaccine booster as soon as I can. I think it's available after this weekend. So that'll put my mind.
You got the second booster for the last batch, right?
I got that a long time ago.
I don't know why I waited, because now Omicron's available. And whatever. I still have this scratchy throat. I don't know what that's from, but maybe I'm not hydrated. I'm going to drink some water. I'm sure my nutritionist would like me to.
Oh my God. How much time, Kyle?
There are 2 minutes. There are 2 minutes, and I am lying. So
what?
There are 2 minutes.
What? Okay. So, okay. What, I'm going to give you a task. How about that? It's, how did you like, I actually followed, so when we did, oh my God, 9 sentences, let's start one of them. The of this is that when we both did Dynasty Typewriter, when I got to introduce people, Maria does that joke about how she would like to be introduced as a melanoma survivor with an announcement. So I got to, she killed so bad with a bunch of, I got to see her hour Thursday night at Irvine, and this week at Flappers, this Thursday she'll be at Flappers, and there were a couple of great new lines that I was like, I regret not working with her regularly, but it's flights and hotels are so expensive right now, so it's literally prohibitive for her to bring me. And she gets to pay all the local features super fair. And they need the state, and they get to open for her. And so they get to learn from watching Maria Bamford do an hour. They get to bask in, an audience that is super available. Not that, like, my audience is, a lot of them are bleed offs from Maria, So they just want to hear what I want to talk about. And it's my favorite thing about my fans, right? And because sometimes what I want to talk about is super weird, and it's because I hung out with Maria Bamford on the road for a dozen years. So, but I do miss it.
Yeah. I mean, to have your comedy DNA mixed with Maria Bamford's is truly incredible.
It's a gift she gives people, and then cash on the barrelhead.